And I'll try and point that out again with the laser here as it's happening.
So essentially what Cole is defining is that this thing was playing possum on me when I thought it was dead.
Now, when I study this, I've sat and studied this little clip for hours. I also think I can pick up a little head movement when it's blinking. You can see it here. That's blink sequence 1. And then there may be a little mouth motion as well, but there's definitely some head motion in this one. Okay. So the next part of this tape, what I did is I took each of those 2 sequences, extracted them out, and then I ran them at 1/10 speed. Essentially, I duplicated the frames 10 times for each frame so that we could watch it in very slow motion. This is sequence 1, and here you can see the eye here again. This video that I took this from is many generations downstream from the original, so there's a lot of distortion in here you can see. But it's still, that reflection cannot be caused by the camera motion because it happens, I'm not an expert, but it would seem to me that if it was just light being reflected, that it wouldn't happen so many times in the same amount of time. Oh, there it is here. Close. And I think that's, one more time here. It's starting to get more obvious when you see it in slow motion like that. And this is the next sequence. This one is actually a little more clear. He was closer to the head. It's a little shorter sequence. The first one is 6 seconds of blinking, and the second one is only about 4.5 seconds. And again, when I look at this endlessly, it seems like he's almost surprised. That's the feeling I get from the way he blinks here. There's just a little shake of the head, and it's almost like he's becoming aware at this point. And right here is where Jonathan starts to move in front of him, and I think this is where he's deciding that he's going to clam up and play dead. I think he's aware that this is happening. That's my feeling. You have to decide for yourself. And again, in an attempt to help me decide, I took these 2 sequences and I did them over and over again. I did repetitions so that I could get used to seeing the sequence over and over again and decide, kind of get a feel for what's happening there. And so I do these kind of monotonous, but it does get your eye acclimated. You're expecting something each time, and I think you get a better feel for what's actually going on there. No, when we saw it in my sister's living room, he still thought it was a reflection as he was moving about. And I showed him this tape yesterday, and I think he's as surprised as you are. I haven't discerned any pattern yet.
I checked the mouth when I did this video and later in another closer examination. And for my recollection, I thought it was dead. When I pulled the eyelid down, I just pushed the bottom of the lid back in position because it stayed open a little bit.
And then after this series of repetitions, I was able to, even though the video is poor quality, I zoomed in as much as I felt was reasonable on that eye area, and I managed to make that area of zooming kind of centered on the head. And So this is blink sequence 1. I slowed it down a little bit here. There's the eye here. And the next one is the most compelling one for me because I think I see an actual eyelid motion here on the last blink. This one. And that's, I think Freddie was alive and active and playing possum.
Thank you, Cole.
Art Bell hasn't seen that yet, but when he does, I'll be sure to make sure he doesn't have a heart attack.
Can we go to the slides now? Thank you. Again, these were the wood scenes, and I'll quickly finish these, give you another little chance to look at the black obelisk. Can we turn the lights off on the stage, please? It is suspended in the air. It is anchored to the air. I could not move it. I could not budge it. I leaned against it. I pushed against it, and it would not move. It felt and sounded like a piece of stone. It almost absorbed all sound. When I touched it, the first time I touched it, the harmonic sound changed to a pleasant sound, to almost an inviting sound. No, the sound is not on the video that I can detect. Somebody asked if I had a closer photograph of it. The first one up there is within 12 feet. At another examination that I did with my friend Gary, we attempted to cut the suit, and it wouldn't allow to be cut very long. I cut the suit about 6 inches, and from the top of the cut to the bottom, it resealed itself like a zipper. I cut it a second time, it did the same thing. The third time, I stuck the X-Acto knife in, and it would not let me pull down on the material. It would not let me cut it. Yes, we did, but unfortunately, some of our dark friends have that tape. You are seeing about 15% of what I originally had. It was either stolen or taken from me one way or another. Now, I won't mention any names like MUFON, but we called a lot of people, my friend Gary and I, trying to figure out what to do, because we had no idea. We were looking for some help. And some people who identified themselves as being legitimate source people, who obviously weren't, told me they were going to help me, and that they would preserve and help me analyze some of this material. I later found out that they had no part of MUFON, but I was told they were part of it at the time. My dog's body fell to the ground and became a white ash. There was nothing left of my dog. I'll try to voice the question.
We'll leave those questions until later, please. Let's get through the presentation so everybody gets to hear the story, because there is a lot more we don't have.
Again, this is a shot that I think shows you the dimensions definitely that this is not a pasted up piece of cardboard or a